Simon King of the Witches did that to a certain degree. But even looking at the IMDb synopsis, it says, Simon, a young man with magic powers, invokes the help of the evil forces in order to take revenge on a man who cheated him with a bad check. And I think, like, oh, okay, is that what happened? Because I didn't remember the bad check or any of that. Like, I remembered shit happening, and like it seemed like it was happening in a sequence that made sense, but I think I missed a lot of story.
You saw it. It was like he was nailing a piece of paper to like the board where the chicken was, and I think that was the check. And I think I'm sure they had talked about it at some point.
Dang.
What was the bad check about? Like, I remember there was a
Did it
scene
matter?
earlier on where he was selling like occultic trinkets. It's about the protagonist is this guy who's supposed to be a warlock, and he tells people about his powers and he tries to sell them whatever he can based on the idea that he has these powers. And in the movie, it didn't show anybody asking him to demonstrate these powers so much as they were just buying shit off of him that was supposed to offer them protection or whatever. And he was at some party with like a bag full of medallions and stuff like that. Was it then? Was he selling like the bag of bullshit and somebody wrote him a bad check? Or I mean, I probably missed a lot more than you give me credit for here, Randy, even though I watched the whole thing.
No, I literally just know that I saw a piece of paper that looked like a check being nailed to the chicken board.
And what was the chicken's involvement in all of this?
Sacrificing itself.
Dang.
Can we just talk about this movie's obvious, very troubled relationship with homosexuality?
We can try.
Yeah, we can try to analyze this.
Yeah,
but
it's the scarf, isn't it? I think it's.
But it was at the same time an entirely gay movie with homophobic elements in it. To like after the fact, maybe just kind of say like no homo. You know what I mean? Like they have the protagonists clearly trying to seduce a young man throughout the entire film, but every so often they wanted to say like that's not what's really going on here, and and this guy's really pissed off about a guy hitting at him at this party or whatever, because that happened too.
Yeah, it was the taking the boy down into the storm drain. Well, I can't say boy because I don't know how old the kid was. But it was I'll say a young man. He kind of pretty much seduced a young man down into the storm drain where he lives, where Simon lives. That's the first line of the movie. My name is Simon and I live in a storm drain. So there's
I forgot all of this.
Basically, I mean, a lot of that movie was in that storm drain. Half of it.
Yeah, that's about the whole movie there, Liz. So
I have a question.
Pretty much missed the movie.
Was he in jail at any point?
The storm drain looked like a jail. I'm looking at a picture right now that looks like.
So Simon,
if I show the picture to you.
Simon was never incarcerated.
Now Liz asks, was he ever in jail? And I'm thinking to myself, at first I'm like, no. And then I was like, oh, that's a good question. It could be. It could have been.
Well, I admittedly
missed that.
I probably left with like maybe 15, 20 minutes to go. So I don't know what happened to him, but I do know that he was getting busted for pot or something, getting busted for drugs.
No, because I passed out at some point too, so I didn't finish the movie.
They did a black mass and shit, and they did a black mass and shit, and it looked funny. Like, I mean, from like looking at old notions of what Satanism would be or whatever, like it's funny. But if I remember correctly, just at the end of it, it just suddenly stopped, and there was like a voiceover where he was saying something like even death is temporary. Think about that. And then like the credits roll, and everybody was like, "Man, what the fuck? What? What happened? What does that mean?"